guest. He is the current head coach of Grovetown High School. Won the, I want to say, the first state championship in Aquinas history. He won the very first state championship in Aquinas history in 2018. Help me welcome on my friend, my brother, Darren Dudley.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Been a while, man. Been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen you, but Grovetown.
Yeah.
How is it for you so far?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I got I got exciting kids.
Okay.
We got a pretty good administration, really good fan base, really good place to just be, and kind of spread out and try to get better at coaching and question, my program and my theory of coaching.
Okay. Well, for the people that don't really know you, just give them a quick, brief background about, who you are. Where you're from.
So yeah, I'm from Ruston, Louisiana. Went to school, went to the military, moved here. That's where I met you up in Thompson with
Right.
Green. I was working there when I got out. Got my teaching certificate, went through a whole bunch of no's before I got a yes. Got a yes at Aquinas and turned that yes into something good to where I could really get a
Right.
career out of it and just, try to help kids grow and learn the tools and stuff to be successful when they become men.
Not only on the court, but off the court.
Yeah, it's more about off the court to me anyway.
Okay.
Like, I only got you for 4 years, but how you gonna live 40 years from that? You know what I mean? And hopefully I can
Have an impact.
have some influence on that and
Right.
just kind of give the kids what a lot of kids don't give. And it all start with just truth and showing them that, along the way, you can expect some L's. You're going to get some L's in
Right,
whatever
right.
you're trying to do. So learn how to bounce back from an L. I think a lot with us, we see a L and then we just stop.
Right.
You could take a L and then just say, I'm stopping, and your whole life stop. But if you know how to get up and dust yourself off from them L's and keep pushing, then you'll be straight. And that's what we try to get the kids over everything. We just use the basketball and the development as a carrot. Develop our young men.
Because, you don't find too many young head coaches such as yourself. You got you at Grovetown, and you got D. Howard out at Greenbrier. So, we're getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what we need around here is more coaches who are a little younger and fresher, who understand the kids of today as
Yeah.
opposed to the old school my way or the highway type. And because we do have quite a few of those around here.
Yeah.
So to see you guys get head coaching jobs, like, you're the guy. Everything goes through you. That's major. So I salute you. I salute what everybody's doing. I salute what you got going on. I salute what D got going on. And I hope to see that in the future, you guys, I know you got the D1 talent. So you guys start producing that like on the regular, and then it'll be something major.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let's talk about the Aquinas run. Like, how did that job all come about?
So up until that Aquinas run, so I started out in 2012, 13.
Right.
I was assistant at Grovetown. We weren't that good. We had a really good JV team. I coached the JV team. But after that year, I kind of, when you finding your way and stuff,
Right.
It was just some stuff I didn't agree with. But then on some other things, I was just young and impatient and wanted to spread my wings. So I went and coached AAU for a little bit, which was, I tell people all the time, the 3 years that I coached in AAU was probably the most beneficial to me because I got to make my mistakes with nobody looking at me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can make your mistakes and you don't have to worry about, like, yeah, you're going to get your parents at AAU, but it ain't like a fan base at a high school.
Right.
They just, sometimes they'll kill the coaches. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they'll just kill the coaches. So, but AAU, I got to make my mistakes. I got to learn my temperament on the sidelines.
Right,
it was
right.
in AAU, sometimes I get thrown out of the game.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do that in high school because you get fined for it.
Right.
Like, I don't want to come out of my pocket for that. But that kind of stuff I had to learn along the way. So that was great. But along then, I was getting my teaching certificate.
Mhm.
had got it and started applying for jobs because just like you said, I just felt like it was a time for some new blood. Like I've been here since 2011. I thought the one maybe two biggest semblance of programs was probably Butler over there with Body, and then when Buck Harris was at Laney.
Right.
Like I was like, okay, like you can do it here, but it's not a lot of people doing it. So
Right.
what's the disconnect? And you realize you go to people's practices, you kind of learn and talk to guys, and you realize, okay, well, there's not a really heavy emphasis on development. So
Right.
if I get my own program, my emphasis is going to be on development. And along that AAU time, like I coached Georgia Havoc for Mike Bowdry and Trago Million and all of them guys that I had at Aquinas. I had them guys when they were in 7th grade, going into 8th grade. So I got turned down. I mean, I ain't going to list the name of schools, but pretty much every school in this area that had a vacancy, I got turned down. One school called me in. I did an interview for 3 minutes. Like, they interviewed me, rushing through the questions, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, well, I'm answering them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because after you've done the interview process, you kind of internalize the questions. Like, I knew all the questions, so I got note cards with all the questions written out. And when they ask a question, I'm flipping it. So I'm super prepared when I go in. And I mean, I did the interview. They kind of mushed me out. Like the alumni was in there, so you probably got an idea who it was.
Okay.
Oh,
So they ran me out, and by the time I got to the car, I was pulling the door handle. They was like, "Man, we went with somebody else." So, it crushed you, but then it's like, nah, I know I can be good at this.
Right.
Like I watch these dudes that they picking over me, and like I don't know. So, and then right after that, I got a call, and wanted me to go over to a school and be an assistant. And the guy that was there, he kind of, I interviewed with this school, and the principal was like, man, this was the best interview I've ever had. Would you be offended if you could be an assistant? And I'm like, nah, I just want to be around the kids
Right,
and to
the
try to give
game.
them the game, you know what I mean? So I get here for like 2 weeks, and the coach, he hits me up, and he says, I got another guy coming, so I don't need you no more. Just go. So,
Dang.
man, like, this is, like, man, you know what I'm saying? But you dust yourself off, and it was crazy because I was walking through Bilo maybe like 2 days after that happened. My wife had sent me to the store to get some bread. It was crazy. And and Bernie Norris, who was at Aquinas, he seen me. He knew, like, I had been trying to get into coaching. He said,
Right.
man, you trying to get into coaching? I said, yeah. I said, man, you don't even understand. And even on top of that, I had a homeboy in Vegas. He had called me, like, right after, like, maybe a week before I went on, when all of this happened. He's like, come to Vegas, man. We need teachers. We need coaches. I had did a phone interview
Right.
with the people and was going to take the next step and set up a plane to go out there. And I ran into Bernie, and he told me to come to Aquinas the next day. I went, interviewed. That high school season was still going, but they told me you'll have the job next year. And so I kind of just went to all their games and just watched my personnel, seen my guys, and seen that they had talent. That year they only won like 8 games, though, 9 games maybe. And they were like, I could see, like, Trey always been a beast. I mean, Cam Gardner was good, but you could tell he needed to be worked with. Same
Right.
thing with Gerald Merriweather. So I was excited. Like, I'm getting my whole philosophy book together that whole
Right.
time. Like, we're going to do this like this like this, this like this. And, once I got the keys once the basketball season was over, and we just stayed in the weight room. I don't know if you know Highland right there in front of it.
Yeah.
We run from the AM, PM every day up to the Circle K and back to the school. That would come to 4 miles. And, I mean, like, these boys was doing this every day. Like, so
You building machines.
yeah, I'm already knowing, like, when we get out here, we fixing to smash something.
Right.
And then that first year, we went 26-2. And, I
Wow.
mean, we had a 20-game winning streak before we lost
I remember
in
that.
the Elite Eight to St. Francis. And, like, even then, I was like, we can win state. Like, we can win state. Like, this is one of the best teams in the state. And
Right.
we was up on them. They came back in the second half and kind of put us away. But I'm like, we can win next year. So we just kind of went back to it and worked.
And to speak on that, because during that time, a lot of people were like, man, well, that's Aquinas, they playing private ball. But I'm like, bro, basketball is basketball. These kids can go, and they're well coached.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't, at that time, they didn't want to give you your just due. But, like I said, when I met you, that's the first thing we talked about. It was just basketball, because when Green introduced me, he was like, hey, man, hey, man, I work with this dude, man. Y'all need to meet, man, because he always talking basketball. You always talking basketball. And I remember we met, and it was just, like, from there. So it went. And so what happened with the next year? You guys came back and you went it off?
Man, we got into we lost on a Tuesday. I was sick, man. Like, I ain't even get up out of the bed for like 2 days.
Might as well.
Man? Yeah, so
Stop playing.
you know, I told them, you know, man, let's take a little time off. And like that Friday, they was like, nah, we need to get back to it. And I'm like, all right, well, if we're gonna get back to it, let's switch up a little bit of stuff. You know what I mean? But we didn't. I mean, we lost on a March 9th, I think, March 3rd. We was back at it at March 7th. That was 17, and we worked all the way through, man. And then another beneficial thing is Damian Key, you know, he got Southern Kings.
Okay.
And all my guys played AAU together that year. Like, every last one of them played on that 17U team. They won the Peach State. They won some tournaments. And this was without Trey, because Trey got diagnosed with a torn meniscus at the beginning of the summer, so he didn't play his whole summer, his last AAU go-around, which I think hurt his initial recruitment because he didn't get to really show what he could do like that, you know what I mean? And, of course, like in my system, we emphasize everybody touching the ball. So the first 2 years when he was averaging 20 to 23, 24 a game, that dropped. I mean, my first year I think he averaged 19, but his senior year that dropped to 16 because, you know, to me as a coach, I love when I see a team with somebody averaging 20 or more because I know he going to shoot the ball the most.
Right.
And we can scheme for him. You know, we can scheme for that guy. And so, yeah, come on if you're going to shoot it like that. But if you spread out, you got 4 or 5 guys that's averaging 7 or more, you don't know who can kill you. That year at Aquinas, I mean, Trey averaged 16, Daniel Parrish averaged 14, DeJuan Hill averaged 10, Trent Bowdre averaged 10, Cam Gardner averaged 8, Gerald Merriweather averaged 6, I averaged like 6. So, and all of them, those guys all had multiple double-digit games. Then I had 2 more cats off the bench that had Chris Williams. He had, I think his high that year was like 19. Kid named Steven Webster, he had a whole bunch of threes one game. His high was 18. So, like, you can't key in on one guy.
Right. I think that's the key to basketball nowadays. Would you still get that? You know, you got a lot of schools that still do the ISO one-on-one. Or this is my guy, this is our guy, and like you said, it's kind of easy to scheme for that. But you know, for Trey to buy into what you were doing it speaks a lot of his character as a basketball player. He's like, okay, he's more of a winner than a selfish player.
Yeah.
And that's really good. That's a really good